we've already got Brett with us. Good morning, Brett. Thanks for joining us this morning. Cameroon, how you holding up there, my brother?
Well, funny story. I'm doing a lot better this morning than I was doing yesterday morning. We got called out on Polytech last night.
I'm sorry I missed that. I'm gonna go back and watch it after we get off the air this morning, because I love hearing people talk about me, especially when they talk bad about me.
Oh yeah. When Danny got up super early, she was cussing us. Yeah, they observed that we were quite boozy, and yes, even without talking with each other, because Chris and I were both awake in time to do a show, but without even talking to each other, we both went, "No, I don't think we're doing a show."
That is correct. Yeah, so for those of you that may have missed it, we did a special show Wednesday evening to memorialize and celebrate the life and the greatness of the now late Rush Limbaugh. And in all fairness, the last hour of the show really had nothing to do with Rush. We was just drinking, and Cameron had already cut out because he had to get up and go to work early in the morning. I should have cut out earlier because I still had work to do. I've been up since midnight last night working already this morning. And yeah, I definitely drank enough Wednesday night that while I managed to get some useful work done yesterday, I was just about useless for most of the day.
Yeah, I definitely needed a greasy breakfast and lots of salts and sugar yesterday morning. That was for damn sure.
And Lindsay's with us. Good morning, sunshine. We've got Krista with us as well. Good morning, ladies. I saw Krista yesterday. We kept her daughter so she could run some errands. And I shared with Krista some Sam Newton videos. Cameron, if you haven't seen Sam Newton yet, that's a funny dude. So, just a little perspective. Cameron, you know who Peter McKinnon is, and like Chris Howe and all those guys that basically they make YouTube videos about making YouTube videos. And they make fantastic videos. They're Daniel Sheffer and all them. They make YouTube videos about making YouTube videos, and all of them also have professional production companies where they're making commercials, and most of them are making, like, Peter McKinnon was doing a commercial for Mercedes-Benz over Christmas, I think it was. All that. Oof. So there's this kid, hey, Holly's with us. Good morning, Holly. Aren't you supposed to be on the air right now, sunshine? But anyway, this kid, Sam Newton, he started, I don't know when he started his YouTube channel, but he did not have the nearly 100,000 subscribers that he has today as of the beginning of last December. But right before Christmas, he put out a video, and it's a diss track rap song up against Peter McKinnon, who's got millions of subscribers on YouTube. And Peter McKinnon saw the song, he saw the video, and then he shared it with all his buddies, and all his buddies are multi-million subscriber YouTube channels, and all of a sudden Sam blowed up, and his stuff is hilarious. And Cameron, he's got a song called Cameraman that I especially want you to hear, because you were telling me about the new camera that's coming your way. I can't wait for you to listen to that song. I hope you get your camera before you listen to the song. But it is so funny that Krista had to sit down. She and Fee were just falling all over each other laughing at these music videos. So Holly's taking the day off to catch up on schoolwork. Well, I understand. Thanks for joining us. So Holly, I think this is probably your first time watching us live doing the Firearms Friday, so I'll go ahead and give a quick review of the kind of the rules, what we try to do on Firearms Friday. I have a dozen or so articles pulled up. To the best of my ability, I have read as little as possible of each of them. I try to read no more than is absolutely necessary for me to know that it's appropriate for the show, so that I'm reading them to you and it's me reading the articles for the first time. Obviously, there's a lot that can be gleaned from a headline, but we have a scoring system, and it's developing. We might add a few more score buttons to it. But for right now, what we have is DRT, DOT, and BRM. A BRM stands for Basic Rifle Marksmanship. That's what we do in the Army to learn how to shoot. And the score of BRM for any of these cases is that someone attempted to do the right thing, but needs to be a better shot. They missed. They had a fail where an unintended target was injured, something like that. A DOT is dead over there, which means that the offender expired at some location other than the scene of the incident. Usually, a DOT is for somebody who, the offender died on his way to the hospital or died in the hospital. And then, of course, the ultimate score is the DRT. Dead right there. That's where the offender is eliminated at the scene by the intended victim. And it is not just that I have a probably unhealthy bit of bloodlust and a mild addiction to active conflict. I miss the wars. I do. But that's not the only reason we do the DRT as the highest award of honor in these. The fact of the matter is, when you have a violent criminal who meets a violent end at the hands of an intended victim, it sends a message to other criminals that the work you do is not safe. You are taking a risk, and these are the wages of your sin. And dead bad guys on the ground save the taxpayer time and money. I don't feel any compunction to waste taxpayer dollars or government resources prosecuting criminals when it's so much more efficient for potential victims to simply end the problem at its root. Incidentally, that may be the best argument there is for stand your ground laws. So, there we go. So, without further ado, Cameroon, is you ready?
Yes.
It was somewhat anticlimactic after that brief pause. All right. So, we're actually going to open with one that Cameron sent me. So, I've read the headline. It's 12-year-old kills home intruder after 73-year-old woman shot during robbery. And there's a subhead. Charges are not expected to be filed against the 12-year-old boy, the police said. 12-year-old boy fatally shot a man to protect his grandmother when two intruders broke into her North Carolina home. The incident occurred shortly after 12:30 a.m. Saturday when two masked men entered 70... Wow, so we were shooting a wedding. Oh, 12:30 a.m. So this is before we got to the wedding site. Good kid. A 12-year-old boy had to fatally shoot a man. Now, there's a lot going on there because let's be real. The first time you kill a man in combat, and make no mistake, that's what this is. You're talking about men who came to do you harm, and you engaged them and were victorious. The first time that happens to a person, we all want to believe that when we're faced with something like that, we will do the right thing. Before I ever deployed, I thought about it like this, and this is how I talked to my soldiers about it. until the first time you are actually asked the question, what are you going to do? You are not able to answer it. You may have suspicions. You may have expectations of yourself, but until it occurs, you don't know. The first time I was ever in an actual gunfight, before that, I thought, you know what? I'm a big man. I'm a strong man. I believe I'm a brave man. And I know that I'm a competent fighter because I have been well trained. I studied martial arts before I was in the military. I was a great shot before I was in the military. And I only continued to build on those platforms once I was in. And that first time it happened, IED on a motorcycle went off, and I clearly remember the sentence running through my head. I paused, I took a deep breath, and I said to myself, it's time to go to work. And that's exactly what I did. And that was a major battle, and I was the first American on the ground to return fire. But that's me. Until that happened, I was fully aware that there was a possibility I would freeze and maybe even crumple up and fall down and go in the fetal position and cry and piss my pants. I absolutely made room in my world philosophy for the possibility that would be me when the shit hit the fan. Turns out, it's not. Turns out, I am the guy that says, it's time to go to work. But you don't know that until it happens. Once you do know that, it changes the way you deal with people. Because suddenly, your risk calculation is a very, very different creature. Once you know that you are someone who can make correct choice at cusp, that's huge. So now you've got a 12-year-old boy who knows that if someone is in danger, if his grandmother is in danger, and in the future, if his wife, his children, this boy has a bright future ahead of him, assuming the trauma of having been in that crisis situation at that age doesn't consume him going forward. I suspect that having the mind and having the courage and the temerity to defend his grandmother in what, as far as I can tell from just these few sentences, obviously there could be more to the story, but the likelihood that you could tell me a story where two intruders, having shot a 73-year-old woman, there's any court where the 12-year-old boy wasn't 100% justified to open fire on those obvious enemies, I'd be gobsmacked. You cannot make that argument. This boy did the right thing at the right time. And if he can get over the trauma of having to do that, of having to make that decision and take someone's life, then going forward, this young man, he understands now what decision-making actually is.
Yeah, he's not afraid to hit somebody's off switch, that's for sure.
Yep. Oh yeah, and here's the tweet from Michael Lozano. I'm not sure who that is, but a 12-year-old Goldsboro boy fired off shots at two masked robbers who broke in and shot his grandmother. One of those robbers died from his injuries. Yeah, we've talked about that before too. Remember, early last year there was a situation in Conyers, just down the street from me, where the headline was that two young men were shot by a homeowner. And as we start reading the story, we find out, there were somewhere between 6 and 10 masked men who approached this homeowner early in the morning, and the guy was like a truck driver or a tow truck driver or something. So he was out in his yard early in the morning, and these masked hoodlums came up who were armed, most of whom were never apprehended. And it has never been clear how many of them were armed, but we know that at least more than one of them were. There was more than one gun recovered at the scene from the criminals. Two of the assailants were killed, and I think they were 17 and 18 respectively. But there was a whole outcry from part of the community. Oh, it's such a tragedy that no. You show me a half a dozen man-shaped things with masks and guns, and their age is not a relevant factor. The guns are a relevant factor. You have just chosen to be a combatant. I know what to do with combatants.
Masks and obvious ill intent.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like there were 5 feet of snow on the ground, so that they're wearing masks, ski masks, whatever. No, this may have been even earlier than that. It was before people were wearing masks for COVID. I think is an important distinction. And yeah, if you're wearing a ski mask instead of a COVID mask, I know what you want. And also, I will not treat you in a mask unless you've been invited to my home. If you show up in a mask, even if it's because you're terrified of the coof, I will treat you like a masked criminal. So the intruder just shot his grandma. He would have shot him too. He would have shot me too. He would have killed us all, the boy's great-uncle Randolph Bunn told news station WTVD. The gunfire caused the intruders to flee, but one suspect, Khalil Herring, 19, was found at a nearby intersection suffering from a gunshot wound, police said. You know what? I'm still going to call that a DRT. I'm still going to call that a DRT. That's close enough. What do you say, Cameron?
I'm good with it. I'm good with it. 12 years old. I mean, and you were talking about the trauma. There's another side to this. I think this kid already is taking the hottest girl in school on to prom. That's what I think.
He won't be the loser that's crying about his best.
Yes, because despite what the social scientists would tell you, women seem to prefer manly men. It's just a thing.
Yeah, the social scientists might tell you wrong, but the biological scientists are very, very clear. In fact, the biology scientists say women like this guy. Anecdotal experience also supports that conclusion. So I think we've done this one sufficiently. We usually don't put 10 minutes on an article.
Yeah, I've got time for maybe one more. Can we?
Is there another one in particular that you wanted to do, or can we just move on to the next one?
Yeah, just move on to the next one.
Okay. Surveillance video captures Fort Lauderdale homeowner open fire on burglars. We have video?
Will the YouTubes ding us?
Screw them. We're going to try it. I'm not sharing the audio. I'm just going to let the video play and see if we can see what happens. Yeah. You're a very pretty boy, but I'm not interested. Come on. There we go. Looks like he's stealing a lawnmower. It's grainy, crappy video. Looks like he's stealing a lawnmower or something. And there's the homeowner out in the yard. Okay. Okay, so a Broward County homeowner turned the tables on a would-be robber, and the confrontation was caught on camera. The suspect, who was shot, has been arrested, and the homeowner who shot him wants other would-be bad guys to take note. The homeowner, who did not want to reveal his identity, told Local 10 News he was alone and spotted the two men outside of his home. Oh, it's a pressure washer. But still, they split up, and one of them walked straight into the home's carport, grabbing items that don't belong to him, wheeling out a pricey pressure washer. And we saw the picture of the pressure washer. That's a nice one. He said he didn't know if the other two were armed, and he fired his weapon. So we give that one a BRM. Good on you for being armed and having the presence of mind to defend your property, as is your God-given right. A right which is instantiated and protected in the Constitution, but it is given to you by God and the work of the government. One of the very, very few legitimate responsibilities and authorities of the government is to protect you from having your rights stripped away by any outside force, which includes, by the way, the same government. But that one's a BRM because he didn't finish the job.
I do like how he wanted to remain anonymous, but made the point, hey, you never know which ones of us are armed. You know, how's the phrase go? Fuck around and find out?
Yeah, that's the one. And there's the bomb. I still need to reassign the key for the bomb. All right, so we're only doing 2 this morning?
Yeah, I'm multitasking. I'm doing stuff for work as I'm doing the show. But since we missed yesterday's show and got appropriately called out for it, there was no way I was missing 2 in a row.
Yeah, no doubt. All right. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. It is Friday, so yeah. Brett points out he remained anonymous but did a video interview. I didn't know there was a facepalm emoji. You just made my absolute day, Brett. Excellent. So anyway, it is Friday. That means it is going into the weekend. Y'all be safe out there. Don't drink and drive. Don't fry bacon naked. Sex, drugs, rock and roll, farm animals, and videotape. No 2 at the same time. Y'all keep your head above water, and we will see you on Monday. And I very likely mean that entirely because I ain't drinking like that again for a while. But, oh, and by the way, Ma, I saw that you're watching. I love you. And let the Sergeant Major know that I very much enjoyed most of that bottle of Glenmorangie.
To be fair, guys like Rush Limbaugh don't die every day. I'm all right just drinking a little too much to celebrate a fellow like that.
That is correct. All right. Y'all be safe out there. We love you. We'll see you Monday.